Google this and Google that, but is that really where it's at? Welcome to our live stream, folks. I am Candice Tyler, and I'm the Community Relations Coordinator here at BizIQ. And today's topic is all about Bing. We are talking about Bing SEO, and you are live with me to talk about the beginner's guide to the Bing survival guide, or, something to that effect. But before I was the community relations coordinator here at BizIQ, I actually worked in our GLS department as a Google Local Services specialist, and one of the listings that we managed was Bing. So I got a little bit of knowledge there, but it is outdated. So I have my lovely friend here, Jessica, who works in our local listings department, here to fill in any gaps that I may have due to time. So Jessica, please welcome actually first to the show, and please tell us about your experience, what you do here at BizIQ, all of that great stuff.
Hi Candice, thank you for having me. I am the local listing specialist here at BizIQ, and what I do essentially boils down to creating listings, updating listings, and maintaining listings so that they're always up to date on a variety of sites like Facebook, Angies List, Yellow Pages, and one we're discussing today, Bing.
Which makes you an expert on this topic. But if you're tuning in and you're listening and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I need to know about Bing? No one cares about Bing. It's all about Google. That is where you're wrong, because Bing actually has 5 million app downloads. And for the last week, I have made the switch to Bing. And so I'm going to give you my firsthand opinion of it. And the UX is lovely. I love the layout. I love going and seeing all the different colors. And it's a lot different than the standard Google, white slate with a nice little picture. But one thing that did not help me is I am very ADHD and I just get lost on tangents sometimes. And so at the bottom of Bing, there's all of these interesting articles that are geared towards things that you love. So mine was filled with the 2021 Oscar nominations and results. And they even got to like the core of my heart and had Outlander, the movie, not the movie. It's a show on Stars. Do you watch it?
I do not, no.
Oh, just know it is amazing. But Jessica, what are your thoughts for Bing search and how does it stack up to Google?
It's interesting. Even though Google is definitely more popular with billions of search requests every day, it functions quite similarly to Google. And people might be surprised to learn that Bing is the second most popular search engine. For
Oh,
instance, if you conduct a search on both sites, the autocomplete answers will likely be very similar on both search engines. The main difference between the two is less in what they have to offer, but more in how a person or business chooses to use it.
yes, all of those were great. But let's dive into the SEO factor of Bing. Now, we're not going to take a deep dive or anything. We're just going to dip our little big toe into the water. And like you said too, the SEO around it is not very different from Google. And really the key to success is just knowing and identifying your target audience. I'm sorry, hold on, I got a hair on my lip. But knowing and identifying your target audience is something that you should be doing in every aspect of your marketing. And it's something we even employ here at BizIQ. Just the other day, it was me and Alex, he's the digital media specialist here, and we were working on a Google My Business video project. And when Misha Corey, our director, CRO, she has a million different hats here, saw it, one of the first questions that she asked was, all right, this is great. You guys did awesome. But who was this targeted to? So some questions that you, a business owner, can ask yourself when you're trying to identify, am I identifying my target audience? Am I gearing my message towards them? What words do they use more frequently? What type of answers are they seeking? And what type of content are they looking for? But Jessica, let's talk about when you're putting together a listing. What are some things that you are keeping in mind during that process?
Some of the major things to keep in mind are exactly like you said, knowing your target audience and figuring out how to best offer the content that they're looking for. You might want to ask yourself all those questions that you just mentioned. As a business, you should think about how to connect with your audience on a personal level to generate the most organic web traffic. For example, a business might want to use high performing keyword phrases in their listing. Another thing to keep in mind is quality. Quality and consistency of the written content and the quality of the websites that link to the business's site. As far as consistency goes, I've seen it where a listing and a business's website has conflicting information, and that's unnecessarily confusing for people. Make sure your information is accurate and up to date.
I love that. And it's such a great point, too, because I think a lot of business owners, they kind of just forget about it, or maybe it's because you're looking at the same information so much that it's hard to spot errors. But what are some consistency mistakes that you see when you're making a listing or that you see in your job every day? Let's talk about it.
Some of the most common errors I come across, I think, would involve with numbers, basically. If a number has changed, they might forget to update that on their listing or forget to update that on their website. So their listing and their website have two different phone numbers.
Right. And it's super challenging too because these listings talk to each other. So
hmm
once you get an information from this listing, it's going to send it to this listing, which is going to send it to this listing. And that's how that bad information can just spread like wildfire. So definitely be on top of the consistency. Make sure that you have somebody who can take a second look just before you hit submit. Say, hey, do all these numbers match up? Making sure that you're kind of protecting yourself before we get to that wildfire stage. But
hmm
while some people may believe that Bing is the low man on the totem pole, I am going to give you some stats to hopefully change your mind. So, first up, almost half of all US internet searches are on Bing. And part of the same research showed that 36% of daily US desktop searches were also done on the Bing platform. But Jessica, Bing is the default for a bunch of Windows devices. Can you give us some more information around that?
Absolutely. As previously stated, Bing is the second most popular search engine behind Google. A large reason for that is Microsoft. Microsoft has more than 1.5 billion active gadgets with over 900,000 of its customers using Windows 10. Bing, being owned and operated by Microsoft, is built in on all these devices. So, unless someone specifically downloads another search tool, they're using Bing. Google actually does the same thing with their products.
Yes, and that is crazy. What was that number one more time? 900,000?
900,000.
Yes, gadgets all over the world. But Jessica, with your position, you work with a ton of other listings. It doesn't just stop at Bing. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the other programs that you work with?
Sure. While Bing is the primary search engine that I use for listings, some of the other listing services I work with on a daily basis include Yellow Pages, City Search, Angie's List, which they've recently rebranded as Angie, the Better Business Bureau, Yelp, Chamber of Commerce, and many others. I also use Google programs like Gmail, Sheets, and Docs on a daily basis, but not for directly creating listings.
Ah, okay. Now, one thing that you said in there was that rebrand from Angie's List
hmm
to Angie with an I instead of
hmm
IE. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, it looks nice, but it's been a bit more difficult to navigate than the old site was.
Uh, I feel
hmm
like they just added or dropped the E to be Angie with an I to kind of like be hip. Like, oh, Angie with an I.
hmm
But let's move back over to Bing here. If we didn't convince you yet that Bing is a top player and should be part of your SEO strategy, Bing is also integrated on a bunch of apps, so it doesn't just stop at devices. They have Xbox, Outlook, Teams, Skype, Excel, Word, you name it, they all run on Bing in one way or another. So you can clearly see, hopefully, why having an SEO conscious or a Bing SEO conscious strategy is going to be good for you. But Jessica, what are your thoughts? Give us some more Jessica tips.
I agree. I think Microsoft is very smart to embed their search engine into all of their products. Bing had 6 billion searches in March 2019, according to a study by ComScore. Additionally, businesses that first optimize SEO for Bing search always receive 26% boost in traffic on Google. Clearly, Bing search makes an impact and should not be ignored.
Yes, clearly 25% boost. I like the sound of that.
Mhm.
But one point I do want to cover is about Bing Places. Now, this is very whoa, I don't know what happened there. But this is very similar to GMB, so Google My Business, Bing Places, you know, tomato, tomato there. And I want to talk about my experience working with Bing. So during my GLS experience, I worked a lot with Bing support, and I must say, they're pretty fabulous. Like, I like Bing support a bit more than Google support. But Jessica, you work within this system as well. What are your thoughts about Bing Places? Give us your knowledge.
Mhm. Yeah, so most of my work with Bing is with Bing Places. I use it almost every day. I used it like an hour ago.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's I like using it because it's pretty easy to navigate. Um, Support's generally pretty helpful, I would say.
Now, if business owners haven't gone and updated their information personally on Bing Places, is there going to still be a listing for them? What does that process look like?
More than likely, even if you're not a Bing user, there's already a listing for your business on Bing. All you have to do is claim it, make the necessary adjustments, verify the information, and publish the updated listing. If there is no previously existing listing, just add the business, fill in all the necessary information, and the rest of the steps are the same.
Now, what about high quality images? Back in my client days, it was kind of difficult to get images that Bing would accept from clients. There are some unique standards that go into it. But when you're adding images to a listing, what are some things you're looking for? What are some parameters that you're kind of limited to? Give us all the tea.
Mhm. So, Bing favors sites with quality pictures. However, there are limits. Bing generally won't let you add a picture that's above 10 megabytes, which is actually a good thing because pictures that are above 10 megabytes are often slow to load anyway. You don't need that weighing down an otherwise stellar listing. On the other side of that, Bing also does not like pictures that are too low of quality. They usually won't accept pictures that are below 10 kilobytes. You want pictures of quality that attract and retain users. Often, that is a picture of the business's premises or an infographic on a trending issue. Personally, when I'm setting up listings on Bing, I prefer businesses that include a logo. The idea is that the pictures should spark interest and attract as many clicks as possible because the more clicks your business gets, the higher Bing is likely to rank it.
I love it. Now, I know the importance of local listing management, and I'm sure that you do too. But for some of our viewers out there, you definitely want to be on top of this. And if there are 3 listings that I would suggest for you to be on top of today to make an impact, it would be Google, Bing, and then also City Search. You can go ahead and go update them yourselves, and it's just kind of a little bit of a project that you can work on. But Jessica, why don't you tell us from your experience and your time working here at BizIQ, why should our viewers really be on top of their local listing
Mhm.
management?
They should be on top of it because listings can get real messy real quick if they're not. Problems arise like duplicate listings. A business changes their phone number or moves locations, and all of a sudden, that number or address is incorrect on all of their listings. You can't always update listings manually. With many listings, it takes time to update information. It could take a few days or a few weeks for the issue to be resolved. And all the while, their listing that's live is displaying inaccurate information to the public.
Ooh. Now, one thing that you did say in there that was kind of interesting was how sometimes listings take a long time to get updated. What are some of the systems that you work with that do take the longest?
hmm Uh, I would say not yellow pages, but more specifically B2B yellow pages is by far the worst. They
Oh,
can
no.
take up to like 3 months to update.
Oh my gosh. And you're just tracking that the whole time?
hmm
Now, if you are interested in our local brand management package, it is something that we offer, and you'll be working with Jessica to make sure that all of your listings are managed to perfection. But it includes real-time listing management and reputation management for $249 monthly. The reputation management is very important because sometimes I've seen it when business owners get a bad review and they want to immediately start fighting. I get it. I'm a fighter too. But our account managers are here to craft a response with you that both explains your side of the story, but also remedies the situation. And they always make up a great plan for our clients. So can't recommend that enough. But Jessica, have you worked with clients on this package before? I think it's something like we give them 300 plus directories or something like that. Give us some more information.
Yeah, that's correct. Some of that is creating listings manually. Sometimes, if there's an already existing listing, we claim and update it. We also use a data management tool called Yext, which updates and publishes listings for typically about 70 to 80 directories. And if there are ever any changes to the business name, phone number, address, hours of operation, we work swiftly to ensure that those changes are reflected on all the business's listings as soon as possible.
Yes, and our team is impressive and speedy as they come. But Jessica, before we wind down here, can you please give our viewers one final Jessica pro tip, please?
I would say be on top of it. Be on top of Bing search because they make more of an impact than most people think. Be on top of knowing who your audience is and what they're looking for. And be on top of your listings to ensure accuracy and quality.
Yes, all good things there. Now we are at a special time in the show, guys. It's my favorite time of the show. It's your favorite time of the show. It's Jessica's favorite time of the show, is where we turn the mic back to you, our viewers, our audience, and you get to ask any question that you want. You can ask about digital marketing. You can ask about the topic that we've been discussing today, or maybe you have a suggestion on a category that you would like us to discuss. We are here for you. So please drop any of that information into the comment box below. But while your little fingers are typing away, Jessica is going to be entering the hot seat. I know you thought she was already in the hot seat, but now she is in the even hotter seat because we will be playing a round of this or that. Are you ready, Jessica?
I am.
Are you sweating? Are you nervous at all?
A little bit.
A little bit nervous? But it's okay because I'm going to take it real nice and slow. All right. Tacos or wings?
Tacos, definitely.
Shopping in store or online?
In person for clothing. Everything else I can buy online.
And shower or bath?
Shower.
Silver or gold?
Both are pretty great, but I think I gotta go with gold on this one.
And staycation or vacation?
Vacation, but only because we don't have a beach anywhere near here.
I know. It's just rocks and cactuses.
hmm
Like, I get pools are nice, but like I want the snap, like the
hmm
the whole experience.
Me too.
But short hair or long hair?
Short hair.
And scary movie or funny movie?
Hmm. I think I gotta go with scary movies on this one.
Love it. Now let's check to see if our lovely audience has anything to say. No, they don't. All right. Well, with that, this week's episode is a wrap. Thank you so much, Jessica, for joining us today and to putting up with my shenanigans. I'm definitely going to have you back at some point in time.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And join me next week as I talk about 8 springtime marketing techniques, or let me just read 8 clever springtime marketing campaign tips with Miss Mandy Trent and her trusty sidekick, Hank. So you guys do not want to miss that one. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you right here, same time, same place next week. Bye, guys.